and her name is Vrinda Gupta. आप लोगों ने काफी सुना होगा उनके बारे में because of a recent viral post, a recent story, and that's how I got to know about her as well. And immediately my reaction was to reach out to her and invite her to be a guest on my podcast. And then I got to know about this amazing personality, and how she turned her depression or her struggles into positivity, and how she turned her dark time into a professional business that she's running right now. So if you guys can hear me, if you guys can see both of us live on the screen, I would really appreciate if you can comment below on this live video session. And those of who you are listening, you can stay for this session, and at the end of the session we will also have you guys ask some amazing questions from Vinda directly, and how she is starting up a freelancing or a business, a professional skill, soft skill training business, so as to say. So जिन लोगों को वृंदा के बारे में नहीं पता है उनको थोड़ा सा मैं आइडिया दे देता हूँ. शी इज अ जोश टॉक स्पीकर. She is running her own business at the moment, which is a soft skills training business, a consultancy firm as well. She's been providing trainings to corporates as well as individuals. And उनकी स्टोरी में बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं, बहुत सारी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ें हैं जो आज हमें सीखने को मिलेंगी, जो आज हमें सुनने को मिलेंगी. So over to you, Brinda. My first thing that I would like you to do is give us a sense of your personal background, कहाँ से हो आप, and your education, your family, थोड़ा बहुत उसके बारे में बताओ, and then we'll jump on to the rest of the story about you.
So, firstly, Nitin, thank you so much for inviting me. And to all the people who have joined the live session and who are going to, be there till the end, thank you so much, all of you, for your presence. So, if I have to start with myself, I'm from Coimbatore. For those of you who haven't heard this city, let me tell you that, Sadhguru, the Isha Foundation. So, it's in the same place, yeah, in the same city, Coimbatore. So that's how I familiarize people who do not know or who have not heard about Coimbatore. And I have my grandmother, my mother, my father, and my elder sister. So she's also a freelance content writer and she does some amazing work on LinkedIn as well. And if I have to start, I think I did my engineering in computer science. Yes, I know all of you have that big question mark right now that from engineering to this, how did this transition happen? So I really thought that engineering is something that I love to do. But gradually, when I started studying, I just found out that coding is something that does not interest me. It does not excite me. And somehow I just had to clear my BTech. And then I went on to do my master's in international business. Now the specialization of that was event coordination, all event management and coordination. So that's where I actually started networking. I started talking to people. I started organizing events. I started hosting events. And slowly I also became the board member of my department. So I was there, as the head of every possible committee that you can take. And that was only because that was something that used to really excite me. And like that, I started my event management background as a client servicing executive, and then I was the sales head of a company as well. And I understood that this is something that I like, and people also like my work because all my clients were happy. My managers or the higher level authorities, they were all very happy, and I was also the top performer of my month, and I was awarded for the same. And yes, then all of you those who have watched my Josh talk, but yes, for those who haven't, I got married in the year 2020. And that's when things started falling apart, and it was not what I thought. Yes, some people are blessed to have a fairy tale wedding. I did have one, but the aftermath of getting married was something very traumatic for me, and I've been through a lot of struggles emotionally and physically. So the moment when
So,
it reached a point
I
where
want
I
to
thought,
ask you. You said you married in 2020. Did you
yes,
knew the guy before? How long were you guys like dating or for
13 years.
13 years. Okay. Okay. Over to you now.
Yes.
Now let's talk about
So
more. Yeah.
Yes. So that is shocking, I know, and we'll be discussing on that as well. Yes. So I was going through a lot, and there was one point where I realized that I'm not being respected. Okay. It was not that I was respected from the very beginning. I wasn't. But, you have this certain mindset ki theek ho jayega. Everything
Hmm.
is going to be okay and people will change
Yeah.
gradually. But that did not happen. And then I decided that this is something that I cannot take it further because it's taking a great toll on me. And I also, I was having suicidal tendencies, and in fact I even tried committing. And 4 months I was in extreme depression and anxiety. And of course, my parents or my sister, someone was always around me 24/7. They could not even leave me for a minute, because then you don't know what will happen to me. I was
Yeah.
not in a very good state of mind. And after 4 months is when I just looked at myself, to be very honest, and I was like, what have I done to myself, or what has
Hmm.
he done to, and the fact that it's not affecting him and he's able to do his routine work, and I'm being stuck here for doing nothing, just but being very honest and committed. Why should I go through this? So
Hmm.
I knew that this is something, now it's inevitable. I cannot go back to my past and undo whatever has happened, but of course I can change what can happen in the future. So
Hmm.
that's where I thought, let me restart my career and give an acceleration at least, so that I keep myself busy. So, all of you who are listening here, if you all think that I'm very passionate, very driven, very ambitious, it was not the case. To
Hmm.
be very honest, I just started because I wanted to keep my mind diverted from all the negative thoughts that I was experiencing.
Hmm.
And that gradually started, and I was doing really good in the event management background. And a few people, they approached me, they said, why don't you take communication training?
Hmm.
And I was, I don't think that this is something that I can do. But all my friends, they were really very, very motivating. And it's just, Nitin, it just happened overnight. Is when we decided, this is going to be the page, this is going to be the brand color, this is going to be the motto of the page and everything. And we just got it going and it rolled. And how, like, on the first day, I still remember that the day when the page was launched, we got 100 followers. Now I
Hmm.
know 100 is not a huge number, but all of you who are into marketing and sales, or anyone who starts a new page, you know that it takes a lot of time to even get the first 100 followers on
Yeah.
Instagram. That was a huge success for me because I had a very supportive community.
Hmm.
And that gradually, started giving me a lot of projects. And then I started liking what I'm doing because I could see the results in my students. They would tell that, we have cleared an exam, or we have done good in an interview, or we have given a good speech, and we're very happy with
Hmm.
the program. So, okay, then maybe there is something which I'm doing right, and maybe I know something about it.
Hmm. I think some issues with the internet at Brinda's end. Let's just stay for a while, guys. I'm so sorry for this interruption. She'll be back in a second. Yeah, she's live again.
Yes, Nitin,
Yeah.
we'll
You're
go.
live. Yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
Yes. So, till where did you all hear me?
So you were talking about how your, comment with first Instagram likes, and
Yes.
then afterwards, how you decide uh, maybe this is something that you people
Yes.
were appreciating for the things that you were doing for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that gave me a kickstart. I was like, okay, this is
Hmm.
something that I would want to continue as a full time job. And I want to keep teaching, and, I want to keep learning from my students. So this is my USB. What I do is, whenever I train my students, I always tell that we are here to learn from each other. And I
Hmm.
genuinely mean it. This is what I follow. And I think this is why my students come back to me every single time.
Hmm.
Either they renew their course, or maybe they start resuming their trainings again. But whatever it is, I give them that kind of space and comfort, that it is not just you who's learning from me, I'm also
Yeah.
equally learning, from you. So yes.
So I have a question for you. You said that you had a very strong community that supported you, community at the
Yeah.
beginning, because it takes a lot of effort to build that
Yes.
strong follow. Were you doing anything previously that helped you get that?
Okay, not really. So what happened is, I'll tell you, Josh Talk has a great influence over here, I feel, because that gave me a platform where I could talk about, and I don't even want to say that it's my story. It's not a story. It's a true incident which has happened, right? So I spoke about my journey. To be precise, and a lot of people connected with it. So
And
that's
how did
when
that Josh Talk
and
thing
the
happen?
power of.
How did that Josh Talk thing happen, by the way? Like, a lot of people
That,
wanted to obviously go and
yeah,
talk about their story in Josh Talks, right? They
yeah.
want that. They also want their
Yeah, sure. So that is very interesting. So what happened was, I knew about Josh Talk always, and I was like, wow. I used to see some of the speeches and be like, wow, it gives me goosebumps. And what a story, what a journey, what a life, what achievement, what success. And one day I saw one of my friend who is a very good content creator on LinkedIn as well. He appeared on Josh Talk, and I just saw his post on LinkedIn, and I was very amazed. I was like, wow, this is very interesting. Then I thought, see, I do not have this kind of a mindset that, oh no, people should approach me, platforms should approach me. I do not have that mindset. I have knocked every single door that has come across, and I have knocked, I've given free trials, I have, you know, done everything possible to build the kind of brand that it is today. So I just thought, okay, let me see if somebody wants to hear my story. And I thought,
yeah.
who will want to hear? It's all about separation, it's so tragic. But then I connected, I applied online, I even messaged them, and then they called me, and then they took my interview for 45 minutes.
Okay.
And they spoke about everything, what has happened before, how was life after marriage, and now exactly after separation, how is it all for you. And I'll tell you guys one strong thing that they told me, yes, we can take your story, yes, you can come as a guest speaker, but we just want to tell you, Vrinda, that there are so many girls like you who are going through a similar situation, maybe not as worse as you, but or maybe worse as you, or even more. But the thing is, they do not want to talk about it in public. they
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
feel that what is the society going to think, and they're not comfortable. So are you comfortable talking about whatever you spoke to us now in public? That's when I realized that it really takes courage.
Yeah.
And that's when I
Absolutely.
realized the story is powerful, but it is about you being vocal about it.
Right.
You have to be vocal. So I said yes. And I remember that when I went to the studio, my hands and feet turned cold and my hands were shivering. And I was like, okay, I don't think I can do this. But then just one thing, I said to myself that wherever you're standing, Rinda, people really work very hard to stand here. Maybe
Yeah.
you have not done something as inspiring and as motivating as them, but since you're lucky enough to get this opportunity, maybe you can impact people who are going through a similar phase. Maybe
Right.
who are also in the verge of ending their lives or not starting over again and just lying lifeless on bed. Maybe you can give them a path to, a direction where they can actually move forward. And
Right.
that's when, I got that energy and I spoke whatever was there in my heart. And
Hmm.
it did really well, and a lot of people approached to me. So that's
Hmm.
where the community support that I'm talking to you about is coming, because a lot of people could relate to what has happened with me. A lot of
Right.
people felt bad for what has happened to me, so they made sure that if I'm starting something new, they were just trying to be there. So I think
Hmm.
Josh Talk has a very, very big influence in my life, or in terms of the community support that I have had.
Hmm. So after the first 100 followers were there, like, what happened next? How did you build something meaningful? How did you ended up having your business or users approaching you, asking you for training and certification programs that you conduct? उसका वाला के बारे में थोड़ा बताओ.
Yes, sure, sure. So when I started this page after completing my certifications on soft skill. And I thought, what is going to happen? It's just a page. I don't think I'm going to get response. As usual, a budding entrepreneur, they generally have these kind of feeling, right? This is not going to work out. But from day one, I knew that one thing that I'm going to tell all of you that will help you is please do not have expectations. Do not load yourself and pressurize your expectations, because initially it's not going to be easy, and then it's only going to hurt you and demotivate you. Yes. So what you need to do, just need to believe, and you need to wait. You need to be very patient. It took me 6 months, Nitin, to get to whatever I'm doing today, whatever little I'm contributing to the industry. It took me 6 months. So in 6 months, I'll tell you what all I did. I was very consistent with my content, be it reels or carousels or posts, all of them I was very consistent. Number two, I made sure that I network. Now, who do I network with? My target audience ideally be students, college going students, working professionals, housewives. And how can I reach to more set of audience is through other esteemed trainers. So that's when I thought, let's do live sessions. And I started approaching a lot of creators for live sessions, and I was amazed that they were actually saying me a yes. Now, for all those of you who have not seen my page on Instagram, I would like to highlight that I've just started about, like I said, 8 to 9 months back, and it takes a really good amount of time to get a good base on Instagram. Now, for all those of you who are thinking that how am I doing lives with such great creators? A lot of people have asked me these questions, and these are creators all over the world, and they minimum have 1 lakh plus followers. I'll tell you how I'm doing. My content, like I said, is consistent. So when any trainer is being approached for a live, they obviously tend to see your page. Now, all the creators who know about the misconception related to followers and following, they don't fall into that trap. They saw content in value to the people. So that's what they saw in my content. Nitin, I hear me? Nitin, can you hear me? Nitin, are you able to hear me? Nitin? I just want to know, can you let me know in the comment section if you people are able to hear me and see me? Nitin, are you able to hear me now? Nitin is stuck, but we can hear you. Okay. Great. He's back, guys. Thank you so much for your comment. Nitin, your voice is cracking. Yes, I think it is all good now. Okay, I think he will rejoin. Yes.
Yeah, I've just
Perfect.
joined. Oh, sorry, guys.
No problem. Yes.
All right. Yeah.
So yes, that's what I was talking about. Creators. Now, all of you who are, if you're interested to go over to my Instagram page and see, you will not see too many followers, but what you will see is the content is consistent. And if you see the kind of lives that I've done with creators, they are creators across the globe. So what do they see? They see your consistency. They see your content. They see, are you adding value to people? So that's what I will recommend all of you who are going to kickstart or something new, or who are already doing something new and maybe you're not able to. So firstly, it's about being consistent on your content. You must be thinking, now what's wrong? I'll tell you, the second thing might be you are consistent, but your content is either repetitive or it is not relevant to your target, or maybe you're not able to add value to the audience. It's not about the number of views you get or number of likes and comments you get. No, it's about the reach, which you can see in your insights as well. So that's number two. So either you have to be consistent on your content, and at the same time you have to make sure that you're adding value. If these both are on track, then of course you are going to grab great opportunities. So for me, with not so many number of followers, I'm still having so many projects in the pipelines, by God's grace, touch wood. It's because of my consistency on my content, and I know my target audience and I know what value I should give them. So this
Right.
is very important for anybody who's struggling with their sales or reach in terms of content. Yes.
यहाँ पे ना एक बहुत interesting चीज है Vrinda. So there was a speech given by Steve Jobs, and in
Hmm.
that he mentioned that how he got to intern with IBM. So
Huh.
he said everyone that there is always a state of no until you ask for it.
Yes.
So that's the case with you also. Like you reached out, and otherwise the
Yes,
by
I reached
default
out.
answer is no. Once you
Yeah,
reached out, you get to
absolutely.
convert them into yes, and got this opportunity to interact with so many of amazing
Absolutely.
people and do live sessions with
Yes.
them. चलो
Yes.
मूव ऑन करते हैं, इसके ऊपर आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now let's talk about,
Hmm.
you said you have so many projects in hand. Can you tell
Yes.
more about what kind of corporate trainings or independent individual trainings you conduct? How many of them you have done so far? Like how many students or how many people you have trained so far? And how is it going now?
Oh, it's going great. I couldn't have asked for anything better. And I'll tell you that when I started, so everyone, it's not been a cakewalk. Okay. It's definitely not been a cakewalk. I will tell you that like I said, I have approached every single door possible. In that some cases, the door has been slammed. In certain cases, it's been opened and they were not agreeing to pay me. They said,
Right.
what are you? You do not have
Mm.
experience, and how do we know that you have the right skill set? And they're
Right.
not. So I did not demand them money because monetization is my secondary goal. My primary goal is to build a base,
Mm.
to have a good how do I say, a base where I can also vouch for what I do and people can believe. So
Right.
that credibility I had to really build.
Right.
So yes, I did give a lot of free trainings as well, and then
Mm.
it started with a couple of institutes approaching. They said
Mm.
we need these one-on-one trainings, and you have to first do the demo. If the student likes you, he or she will pay, and then it's your conversion. And then
Right.
I was very taken aback. I was like, I don't think I can do this because I was new, I was very overwhelmed.
Mm.
So had those institutes who I still, if there are any new students, they first approach me because they at the moment Frinda is going to
Mm.
take the demo, it is ideally a sure shot conversion. Now,
Mm.
how do I do that? Is I first make the student to speak as much as he or she wants.
Mm.
As simple, people are there because they someone to listen to them,
Mm.
because ideally people keep lecturing all the out and the students keep what I hope. Okay, I'm not very sure if Nitin can hear me,
Yeah, yeah,
but
I
again
can
in
hear
the
you.
comment section you can.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yes. So yes, saying that yes, I make them speak.
Mm.
I give them that space where they can vent out whatever.
Mm.
So that's
Mm.
the reason they also get comfortable with me. Now talking about who all I do, I have with, I have tie up with an aviation industry, I have tie ups with institutes, I have tie ups with colleges,
Mm.
corporates. I also have tie ups with certain companies. I cannot reveal those names now because
Sure.
we have to do the final reveal the names. But yes, I've backed corporate projects as well, and
Mm.
it's not easy. It's
Mm.
not that they
Some issues, guys. I'm so sorry for this. I think कुछ तो internet का issue चल रहा है आज. Maybe it's at my end or maybe it's at Vrinda's end, but let's just hope she joins back. Let's just wait for a few seconds and hear more about how she's doing in the business now. And in the meantime, guys, if you have any questions that you want us to ask to Vrinda, please feel free to pour it in the comment section now. And we'll just wait for her to join back. Yeah, Vrinda, you're live back again. कुछ तो आज चल रहा है ये internet का issue. You're on mute, I think. Can you see if you're on mute? I can't hear you. Can you guys hear Vrinda? Because I can't hear her. Hey Vrinda, I can't hear you. I can see you though. Maybe try rejoining once, one more time. See you though. Can you try rejoining once again? Hello?
Nitin, am I audible?
Yes, you are now.
I think we both are juggling between
Yeah.
networks. Uh,
Can you? I think guys in the comments यार आप ही बता दो प्लीज कि किसकी आवाज आ रही है, मेरी आ रही है, वृंदा की आ रही है, who you can hear, or
वो
and sorry and apologize. I apologize for all this issue. I don't know what's going on with the internet today, and probably it's something which is happening at both of us ends. Vrinda, can you hear me now?
I बता दीजिए.
Yeah, now I can hear
Yes.
you loud and clear.
Okay, I'm so sorry, everyone. I think me and Nitin today, our networks are fighting with each other. I'm
Right.
really sorry. Yes, thank you
इससे
so
पहले
much,
दोबारा से
Manmeet.
issue हो, let's just continue and finish what we started. And
Yes,
you were telling about the clients, the corporate projects that you have
yes.
been doing. मेरा इसके बाद follow up question आपसे ये रहेगा कि
Hmm.
what is it going to be now? Are you planning on doing it independently as a freelance trainer, or you are also thinking of building up an entire business, or probably hiring more people and building a company around it?
Yes. So right now I'm swarmed with a lot of projects, which is corporate projects and institution or coaching centers projects that I'm doing. And I have a couple of projects in the pipeline. So right now what I'm focused is to fulfill my commitments on every front wherever my name is mentioned as a trainer, and learning more, expanding my skill set as of now, learning more and more so I can help students in a better way, and also deliver whatever I've promised to the students. So right now what I'm doing is I'm my own master.
Hmm.
I decide, like, I get projects, I decide which one I want to take up and which one probably I cannot take up right now or at the moment. Yes, but in future I definitely have something in my mind that I want to start my own academy. Now it
Hmm.
might not be a physical academy, it is going to be all online based, because considering everybody shifting to online, so yes, maybe an academy where I'll launch a couple of courses and I'll take in students and we'll do batch trainings, and then
Hmm.
that's when I'll hire more trainers. But for that I still have a way to go. I still have a lot of things to achieve before I get into that
Hmm.
a forum where I'm going to represent an academy. But yes, that's definitely on the pipeline, and that's definitely on my mind as well.
Okay. यहाँ पे एक interesting question ये है कि who is the I would say, I mean, you may not be able to answer it without being diplomatic, but who do you think is a better customer, a education institute or a corporate, or even a
Oh
student
my,
independently?
who's a better customer, a
Yeah.
student or
In
corporate?
terms of conversion, like when they talk, how often जैसे अगर आपने 100 corporate से बात की है, 100 education institute से बात की,
Yes.
who are the most easiest or more faster to convert?
Okay, so now there are two things to look at it. First, let us consider from the non-monetary point of view, which
Hmm.
does not involve any kind of monetization or less monetization, so as to
Hmm.
say. Then I would say educational institutions or coaching centers or training centers, they are good.
Hmm.
Why? Because they really need trainers. They
Right.
badly need trainers, and they need students to show them a direction, because students are very clueless nowadays, and they're all realizing the importance of communication, and majorly also after the pandemic, because
Hmm.
the pandemic has literally taken away everything: academic, social goals, networking goals, everything. It's
Hmm.
all gone. So in that point of view, with less monetization, because they do not have that kind of a budget maybe, so yes, with less monetization, but students are easier
Hmm.
because they do not have a fixed mindset. You can mold them, you can
Hmm.
rewire their brain and you can mold them and you can make them better.
Hmm.
Now, talking from a monetary perspective, definitely corporates are better, because here they, of course, it's a corporate, they have their own revenue and they have
Right.
employees. They know that if the employees need to generate more revenues, the employees have to be good in their soft skills,
Hmm.
which means ideally talking to clients and conversions. So yes, they are better from the monetary point of view, because yes, they pay you well and you have limited number of hours, but the struggle is to actually deal with the employees.
Hmm.
Why? Because some employees might be having a very flexible mindset or a growth mindset or a mindset to learn, but
Hmm.
some employees might have a ego clash, like, why do I have to do this? I'm good
Right.
enough, I'm already doing so much. I don't think anybody can teach me what to do. I'm very knowledgeable. So
So how
yes,
do you
it is
handle
very
that?
difficult to, yes. So in that note, it's very tricky.
Hmm.
You can find out, like a trainer who's a trainer, he or she can easily find out when they are doing ice breaking sessions or when they are talking to the employees. They can really read the minds, and from the answers they give, you can actually find out who is flexible and who is
Hmm.
not. So now
Hmm.
what we do, we mix the group accordingly. You group accordingly, so that it's not that all the fixed mindsets are there. No,
Hmm.
you group like fixed and growth mindsets in one group. So
Hmm.
what happens, they can get a chance to change their perspective when they see the other group members performing and being interested in the activity,
Hmm.
and also the way you talk to them. So with a flexible mindset, I can say, you know what, this is not really going good, you can actually improve on this, let me give you some tips and suggestions. I can
Hmm.
do that with a fixed mindset, sorry, flexible mindset. But with a
Hmm.
fixed mindset, I cannot go and say that, this is not okay with you.
Hmm.
Directly it goes to their ego, it hits them hard, and they might even leave. So with them, I can say, you know what, you have done so well. No wonder that, you're the manager, or you're an employee in such an esteemed organization.
Hmm.
I can see that you have very strong communication skills, convincing skills. And what I can tell you is, if you do this, you can double your sales, or you can triple your sales. So
Hmm.
in that way, when I try to pamper the fixed mindset, they actually start liking it, they absorb it, and they think, okay, yeah, I know I'm good, but
Hmm.
by doing this, if I can double my sales, then why not?
Hmm.
So that's the approach. You have a very different approach when it goes to a fixed mindset kind of an employee.
So मतलब एक चीज ये यहाँ पे पूछनी है मुझे, like who are the people who need these kind of soft skills training the
Hmm.
most? किस department में ये ज़्यादा relevant होता है when I talk about the corporates, whether these are
Hmm.
sales people or HRs or maybe operations or finance, who is the person or the department which can benefit it from your perspective the most?
Hmm. Now, in this, I would say that every department requires it.
Hmm.
Every department. Let's go with sales, obviously, because they are going to interact with the client. So they
Yeah.
need to have a very, very clear approach.
Hmm.
Okay. And they need to know how they can navigate two different customers. That's
Hmm.
one. Now, let's go to the HR department. The HRs, they take a lot of interviews,
Yeah.
right? So sometimes they have a very fixed psychology. Sometimes they might be rude. Sometimes they might not even revert to the candidate back.
Hmm.
There are a lot of complications that even a HR goes through.
Hmm.
So ideally, even they should be given a training on how they are supposed to communicate the entire process,
Hmm.
because some HRs really struggle to tell the candidate that you're not selected.
Hmm.
So ideally, they also should be trained on different psychologies of students and different approaches what they can use,
Hmm.
so that they do not, they at the same time they're respecting the candidate, and at the same time they are revealing the final
Right.
results to the candidate. Now
Right.
let's go to the operation department or any finance department, like you said.
Hmm.
They all have to communicate internally. Every department is linked to another department. So in order, now you see most of the organizations internal communication gap is there more than the salespeople. Sales, why it's so prominent, because we know that they go outside and they communicate with the clients. But what about the departments that are struggling to communicate internally? They
Hmm.
have so much of communication gap. Let me give you an example. I go to the finance department and I tell that this is the issue.
Hmm.
How can I deal with it? Oh, we were not informed about it, please go to the operations department. We go to the operations department and we say, this is what finance department has told us, so we are coming to you. How
Hmm.
can they say like this? How did they do this without even asking me? No,
Hmm.
no, this and all does not work, you have to go to the operations department.
Right.
So what happens, there is no communication between employees within, different departments. It's
Hmm.
very important. So internal communication gap is there. Now these people also need to be trained that in order for an effective work, in order for progress, in order for everyone to be updated with what is happening, you need to internally communicate. Why you
Hmm.
don't? Ego clashes, sometimes communication problem, sometimes people are introverts, sometimes people think it's just not necessary and they're already overwhelmed with a lot of work. So
Hmm.
how you can manage time, and at the same time how can you make sure that you're communicating effectively? So ideally, if you see, Nitin, every department requires communication training, every
Yeah.
department.
Yes.
And when I talk about it, when I was, taking up this corporate project, I was told the same thing. There is no internal communication, and of course,
Hmm.
salespeople, that you have to train them on how they can be better with their clients. But
Yeah.
who talks about the internal communication? Nobody talks about it. But
Hmm.
that's very important as well.
Right.
Yes.
Certainly. So, how many people you have trained so far? Is there any number that you remember?
It should be at least 1,000 plus.
1,000 plus in just last
Yes.
6 months, 6 or 7 months,
8 to 9 months.
8 to
Yes, but
9 months.
actually, yes, I started my page about 9 months back, but I started training, proper training should be 6 months back, 5 or 6 months back. Yes.
And what's the goal for 2023?
Nitin, I really do not believe in making resolutions at
Hmm.
the time of New Year. No, why? You can get your resolutions even in Jan, you can make it in Feb, you can make it in the mid of the month, or
Hmm.
you cannot make it at all. So
Hmm.
I'm not a resolution person. I usually go with the flow. What
Hmm.
happens that keeps me sane? That
Hmm.
does not give me the undue pressure here. And even if something really nice is happening, then of course, it makes me also very happy and excited.
Hmm. Hmm.
So all I look forward to be honest, is to grow.
Hmm.
Learn every single day. Today, if you tell me that, I want to learn something new, if you are teaching me a new concept, even if it's not related to my industry, I will be the first person to go enroll and say, I want to learn.
Hmm.
So I'm always going to be a learner. I love learning. I want to grow every single day. I want to help students as much as I can. And I want to learn from them as well. Honestly, I've learned a lot from my students.
Hmm.
And if you look at my target audience, it starts from students from fifth standard up
Oh.
till 12th standard, and then college, and then working professionals. And I also have trained housewives.
Hmm.
So it goes, it's a huge target audience that I target, basically different age groups.
Amazing, amazing. I'm really, really, glad that we had this chance to interact.
Yes.
We're almost at the end of the session. So, if there is anything that you want to share with the audience, you may probably do so. And in the meantime, guys, if you have any questions for Brinda, now is the time to pour in. She's here with us for the next 3 or 4 minutes, perhaps. So, अगर आपको किसी को कुछ पूछना है directly to her, just put it in the comments, and I'll make sure to ask that from Brinda directly. And Brinda, please, if you have anything to share at the last, please do so.
Yes. So I think all of you over here, most of you might have an issue with sales or with leads not being generated, or even if you're getting good leads, I'm sorry, you're getting a lot of leads, but they're not quality leads.
Yeah.
So ideally, what I'll tell you is number one, patience is very much required. Nothing can happen instantly. Trust me, good things take time. Truly believe in that, because it took me 6 months to
Hmm.
do whatever I'm doing today. So I was patient, very patient for 6 months. And the next thing is the importance of being consistent, like I said, with your content. So anytime you feel कि यार मुझे leads नहीं आ रहे, content तो मैं डाल रहा हूँ, check your content.
Hmm.
Maybe it's not relevant to your target audience, or maybe your target audience and the content are not related, or maybe that you are focusing too much on the likes and the views and the comments. That's not
Hmm.
important.
Hmm.
So please make sure that whatever content you're creating, is every content going to add some value to your target audience.
Hmm.
And finally, I would say the importance of running ads. It's very important. Now, I do not know too much of technicalities as much as Nitin or you all will be knowing, but yes, ads are very important. Yes, it might shell a little amount of your money, but definitely that will give you few quality leads for sure. And lastly, I'm so sorry, there were 4 points. And lastly, I would talk about the pricing or the commercials that we say, that it's okay to go slow. Okay, I started with zero. I started with giving free trials. I
Mm,
have given so many free trials. So it's totally okay. Even if you start something with 199, with 99, 299, it's okay. Be consistent like that for 6 months and see the kind of projects you get.
mm,
And then, you can tell that this is my brand value and this is what I charge.
right,
I'm telling from my experience because this is what I do currently. So
right.
it's very important. Just keep these 4 points in mind, and I think you're good to go.
Sure. So there is a question from Salman, and he's
Yeah.
asking how to keep focus on goals.
Now that is Salman. Very interesting question. I'll tell you. For me, for focusing on goals, no, I think you need to have some idea or something in your mind that triggers you the minute you start diverting. Now I'll give you an example. I know it's very complex. To make it very simple, why I'm able to work every single day, I work for about 12 to 13 hours a day consistently. I've been doing that for a lot many number of months now. It's not easy, I can totally understand. I have something in my mind that I constantly tell myself, and that triggers me instantly to work. What is that? What will you do if you're going to sit idle? You're going to sit and cry, or you're going to sit and crib and sob about what has happened in your past, and everything that you've done till now is all going to go to the dogs. It's basically
Mm,
just going to go away. So that's my trigger. What's your
mm,
trigger? I would love to know, Salman. Please tell me what's your trigger. Because it's very easy to get diverted. I'm sure even I get diverted, but the moment I get diverted is what I think about how far I've come. Where I started, with what I started, and how far I've come, and how many people are looking up to me.
mm,
My students, or maybe the training coaches, or maybe other people who have liked my Josh talk, they all look up to me. I
mm,
can't disappoint them. So that is my trigger, that whenever I take even a slight amount of divert, that okay, today I don't think, I'm not going to do it. That's okay, you can take breaks, it's very important. I have not taken yet, but yes, breaks are very important. But I'm talking about diversion, which is different from a break. Even after taking a break, if you still don't feel like getting to work, have a trigger.
mm.
This is very important. And it should be a very positive trigger. So I would want to know now, Salman, if you are saying that maybe you get distracted too often, find out your trigger. What question is that if you ask yourself, is going to motivate you to work? Is it about your journey? Is it about your success? Is it about your parents? Is it about your family, or anything that motivates you to get going? So always use that trigger button, and that's definitely going to keep you going, because that's what helps me. The moment I think I don't think I can do it, I just tell myself how far I've come, how many people look up to me, and I just can see the smile on my parents' face. So that keeps me going, that yes, I have to do it. So
Right.
what's your trigger?
Amazing. With that motivation and trigger in mind, we are going to end the session now. And thank you so much, Rinda. And
Thank you.
guys, although we have another question, so just for 10-15 seconds, Rinda, if you would like to answer.
No, no, no. I would love to, please.
Sure. So the question is from Rashi. Hey, Vrinda, what are the
Yes.
suggestions you would give for a startup entrepreneur who is trying to grow as a woman?
Firstly, cheers to women empowerment, Rashi. High five on that. We can do it virtually. And I love your question. So, guys, I'm a feminist. Now, those of you who think, okay, she's talking about women more than men, no. Feminism is about equality between men and women. Let me clear that first. And Rashi, lovely question. So, I will tell you what I did. Okay. So, when I started 9 months back, first thing I would suggest you, please have patience, is what I'm saying. And whenever you're going to start something of your own, please plan properly. Every single thing, like, even if you're going to open your own Instagram page, have the answer of every why that you're going to put on the page. Suppose if if I'm telling soft skill coach, why a soft skill coach? I have an answer for that. Why am I confidence coach? I have an answer for that. Why is my brand color blue? I have an answer for that. Why I am the face of my brand? I have the answer for that. Who is my target audience? I have the answer for that. What content am I going to create? I have the answer for that. Am I going to provide value to that particular target audience? Yes. Am I going to try and reach out to people who might benefit from my content? And am I monetizing nominal? I repeat, nominal, for the very beginning. Just ask all these questions to yourself before you're starting. And once you have the answers to all this, get started, and you will see in 6 months you are going to grow, and definitely you will grow. And if you do not, please Instagram me, or just message me on LinkedIn, that your suggestions were a waste, and I'm sure that message is not going to come, because this definitely works.
So Rashi has added a comment afterwards saying, especially when we have big biggies like Nitin.
Yes,
So,
now see, for
Rashi,
that I cannot say.
so Rashi, I have been trying to help you for the last 3-4 months, if you remember. So मैंने कुछ नहीं किया यार, मुझे माफ करो.
No, and Rashi, see, yes, when you're telling that when we have big biggies like Nitin, I absolutely agree. And he's a star and he's doing great. But can you see that he invited me to his LinkedIn live? I'm not boasting, I'm not bragging. Please try to understand the concept that I'm explaining you is because of all the things that I've done till now, whichever whys or hows I've answered. I am in this platform where actually some creators feel that I can give value to their customers. So I'm not a big biggie like Nitin, of course, but I'm face to face with him and I'm able to talk to him. So that's a great opportunity for me. So how did I crack it? With the exact questions that I told you. So this will make you a biggie maybe in a 1 year. Even I'm expecting that. But definitely it will make you connect with biggies like Nitin. That's something that I can assure.
Amazing. Thank you, Rashi, and thank you, Salman, for appreciating and for tuning in your questions. Okay, thank you so much, Rinda, from being here, and I loved this conversation, although it was a bit lagging in the beginning. Last का
Yes.
part काफी smooth गया है,
Hmm.
but really appreciate you giving us the time and opportunity, and I'm
Thank
sure
you.
people who had the chance to listen to you would relate to your story, and I'm
Yeah.
sure. Uh, Whatever they are doing in their life, in their phases of life, if they are
Yeah.
also facing struggles or depression,
Yeah.
I'm sure if you look up and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, you will also have that opportunity to convert it and
Yeah.
become a better version of yourself. That's something that I
Absolutely.
would like to end the note on. So really
Yes.
appreciate Rashi for Vrinda for joining in, and
I
thank you.
just need a minute
Sure.
to talk to everyone over here. So, firstly, thank you so much, Nitin, for this opportunity that I got to interact with so many people. I got to interact with you. Thank you for giving me this platform, and it's truly special for me, everyone, because this is my first LinkedIn live, and it will always be, remembered. And apart from thanking you all, I really hope that I could add value. And all I can say is, if you're going through a rough time, okay, tell yourself that it's okay to not be okay. Please do not listen to people who are going to tell you, don't cry, it's a sign of weakness, what you're doing like this, no, a guy can't cry, or what is this, you're a girl, you're crying, this, that. Do not let anyone dictate you terms, please. Okay, so if you're not feeling okay, tell yourself, yes, I'm not okay at the moment, and I feel it, I know it, and I'm going to be better soon. So, with this positive note, I would love to end the live session as well. So, thank you everyone for being here, and thank you, Nitin, for the opportunity.
Thank you. All right, guys, have a good day ahead. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Have a good day.